Chapter 896, The Last Request. Who won, though? Who was it?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Podcast. Escalating voice, question mark? I'm the best guy ever? Question mark? And he's hypocrite?
I am hypocrite, and I had some nasty, tasty, delicious, immoral donuts.
Oh no!
There was like this in the kitchen. There was a thing of like a tub of tiny miniature delicious donuts, and I grabbed a handful and I stuffed them in my mouth. I was like, I can't have too many of these, and I had too many of these.
Oh
and,
god! That's...
They gave me sugar levels, which is like a big amount of that, and then now my saliva is big. Like I have big saliva in my mouth, and it's bad. If you hear like lip slaps and slip slaps and spits, I am deeply sorry. I can't help it. I have donut residue making me salivate, and I love these donuts, dude. I'm just like Katakuri. I'm going berserk over here. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think I feel you, dog. Actually, it's funny. I didn't even make this connection until just now. At work today, here on the pirate ship, there was just a bunch of cookies, and I ate a totally immoral amount of those cookies for both my fit boy persona and everyone else who wanted cookies. It was just all around a terrible time.
Dude,
but
did you lie down on the deck and eat them?
I basically
like
I returned to my office and just lied down and just was fat and embarrassing. Yeah, that's what happened. That was
lied
me.
on top of the desk, all over the keyboard.
I just did a big arm sweep and scattered my computer monitor and everything onto the fucking floor. It all broke and shattered because I was just that decadent. It was that immoral of a eating experience. Long sips represent. Hey guys, it's chapter 896. One Last Wish, according to Manga Stream. I don't know if the Jaiminese box boy is a different one.
I am reading Jaiminese books. This is basically the same thing.
Okay. Well, let's just start with the cover page here. So we're continuing Hajrudin and the Giant Pirates boys, and he's just. It's just honestly, is it just me or is this art a little bit shit? It's like a little not good.
No, I like it.
What do you think?
Like it feels like the One Piece art has become a lot loose over the years, but it's sort of like a masterful looseness. Like you can tell he can make like something like this in like 5 seconds. He'd just be like just scribbling down. It's like, oh whoa, cool. That's the coolest character design I've ever seen. But it's like it's very clearly like the shading lines are like, I'll just do a couple little dashes here, and it looks fine. It looks great. I like his fluffy coat. Like you can tell that the edge is like really thick.
True. That's true. I got no problem with the design or anything. It's just, okay, fair enough. It is rough. We agree on that. The rest is up to taste. But it's I don't know. It's just a picture of him.
It is.
There's like literally nothing else happening here. It's just Hajrudin, who we've seen a million times. So this is a very boring, like, panel. Like we already knew he was here, and we're just seeing him again. I guess he's got a coat now, is what we've learned. Whatever. All right. I don't want to criticize too much. It's not a big deal.
Maybe the next panel is gonna be Kaido. Kaido's gonna be right there, and he's gonna.
I guarantee you. I mean, I think the point of this arc or this cover arc, I can already tell something. There's gonna be a twist at the end of this little cover arc, like there always is. But I'm without a doubt positive that the point of this little intro arc is to introduce Hajrudin and the other like members of the pirate crew that we've already that had been mentioned previously, like the other ones. So we're gonna meet them, and then later on, whether it's at the end of One Piece during the big war, we will then see those characters again when like they're finally relevant, when like the big war happens, or like whatever is appropriate. Maybe an Elbaf.
Where is Oimo and Kashi? Have they gone back to Elbaf, or are they...
Last time I heard. Honestly, it's been a while since I read the end of Enies Lobby. I think they said they were going to go try to get Dory and Bragi. I believe that's what they were doing. I don't know what mechanism they were going to use to pull them away, like to make their duel stop. But I think that's what they were saying. Like they were talking about reviving the giant pirates, or the pirate... the giant pirates.
You know what would be the coolest thing is if Hajrudin bumps into Oimo and Kashi as they're going to go find Dory and Bragi. Like, I don't know, like, how the time frame is probably not correct for
but, like... that's true.
I feel like this might be like, oh my god, it's those giants we know and love, and this they're all talking about the Straw Hat Pirates and how much they love them.
I have no doubt that they will meet up, especially because Hajruddin specifically has been set up to, in his backstory, like, admire Dorian Broggy specifically. So them meeting is an inevitability, as I would consider it. Whether it's during the Elbaf arc, which I don't know, or not, we'll see. But I don't know, it's gonna be something. All the giants will be relevant. I'm no doubt. I have no doubt we'll see them all again.
All right, so
that's it.
That's
our usual 20-minute discussion on the first page. Okay, so here we go.
So
page 1.
We're getting very close now. 12:28 a.m. 30 minutes basically until the promised time, and we're back with all the Big Mom pirates, and we got the baby face large man with the spiky hat, which I like.
He's a funny boy.
And we got some other people. We got scythes all over the place.
We got Raisin, who I said I liked, who I think is cool. Raisin is that guy with the spiky Super Saiyan 3 hair. I like that guy. Or Madara Uchiha looking motherfucker. And look at his style. He's got like military uniform. Ooh, I really like that guy. He's cool.
I feel like there's a lot of military uniform guys, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, but look at them all. Look at this eclectic bunch. And, again, I just want to say, Big Mom Pirates, literally the most aesthetic crew in all of One Piece. They are my favorite. Honestly, Doffy's crew is number 2. I mean, I'm not even counting the Straw Hats, because they're just, they're the main characters. They're the most important.
Well, I like...
number 1 is Big Mom, then Doffy. Mm-hmm.
I like the Blackbeard Pirates. I mean, Shiryu...
They're good.
Has, like, the chin. Like, that is such a chin. He's so evil with that chin, and he's like, yes, I don't even care. I'll slice you right in half.
He'll do it, man. He won't think twice.
So they're talking about the...
Oh, you know what? A small point about that. I just want to say, just a point of order, Oda, please show me more of what the Blackbeard Pirates can do. Because we need to build them up more. You did a good job by showing Burgess in the Colosseum and seeing a little bit of his power, but I need to see more. I want to see way more.
I feel like the whole thing with the Blackbeard Pirates is that we're not allowed to know what's going on until they're going to destroy the world, and then they're the big dangerous threat. We're gonna hear about things because we always hear about what they've done. Like Blackbeard captured Ace, and we see bits of it, and. What are they? They broke people out of Impel Down, and he stole the fruit, and then he fucked up Jewelry Bonnie, and he was going around fucking people up, and he's got a huge crew, and he's evil.
I do like that. Well,
and it's sort of like it's like a looming like dark cloud over in the horizon, but it's not the focus. It's just like remember this guy? He's dangerous.
I totally agree with you on that, and I think there's definitely an element of that I do like. Don't get me wrong. I like the mystery of like how strong is this guy exactly, just kind of being perpetuated. I'm okay with that. But just as like Ace, when we first met Ace, he was introduced as like Portgas D. Ace, like commander of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Just as Ace functioned as sort of a surrogate for the like legendary power of the Whitebeard Pirates, I personally would like to continue to see like individual members of the Blackbeard Pirates pop up just rarely, now and again, exactly the way that Jesus Burgess did in the Colosseum. I think that is an excellent role. They keep it rare, and it's good.
Did we ever get any update on what happened when he found the Revolutionary Army base? Because I feel like that is going to be... They destroyed it?
It was definitely said to be destroyed, and I'm sure that no one important died because it all happened off screen, and nothing in One Piece that's important happens off screen. Well, some things, but like Dragon's not dead, Sabo's fine, I'm sure. Yeah, that definitely did happen though. The Blackbeard Pirates destroyed the Revolutionary Army's like home base, so things are definitely happening with them. The question is, why would the Blackbeard Pirates? I mean, we're a little off topic here. Why would the Blackbeard Pirates attack the Revolutionary Army?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why it's mysterious.
Because Blackbeard doesn't do anything without a good fucking reason.
He's a Machiavellian schemer.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love that Blackbeard's literal greatest strength is literally his scheming powers, despite him being a big fat fuck and like this ugly motherfucker. Yeah, and it's great. 10 out of 10.
I love the fact that he like, despite being a Logia, he can't turn into darkness. He still can get punched quite easily.
He's still got weaknesses. He's got huge weaknesses.
He's what Doffy should have been.
That is exactly right. He is exactly what like. I know Blackbeard took some serious hits from, like, Whitebeard. Like, he got hit by Whitebeard's big old punch in the head and survived because he's tough.
Hey, he's got a big blubber.
And Doffy honestly should have been even weaker than Blackbeard is now, in my opinion. But, okay, fair enough. We can move on from the Blackbeard pirates. The point is the Big Mom pirates are here. They got the mirror. And okay, so what's interesting about this here is I understand what Oda's doing here. We've got all the Big Mom pirates, and they're kind of giving a speech to each other. Just like, okay, guys, here's the situation. We've got the only mirror left on this island, and this is the island where Luffy was supposed to meet up with his crew. We all know this, and at 1 a.m. We know the time frame, so we know he's going to be here. And what we think is happening, oh, well, I mean, of course Luffy isn't going to like, be able to defeat Dogtooth. Of course he wouldn't, like, have the courage to face Dogtooth one-on-one, because who would? So he would run away and try to just grab Brule and hide. And they're just going on about how obviously he must be a coward. And, of course, we know that he actually was a real man and stood up face-to-face against Katakuri. So everything they're doing here, I actually quite like this little intro section where the Charlottes, the Big Mom pirates, are saying, you know, they're like talking about how obviously cowardly Luffy will have to be to do this, but we know that Luffy, like, everything happened in this chapter is lionizing Luffy. And this is one of the times I'm okay with it, but we'll obviously get to that more. So, yeah, any comment on this?
No, I agree. It's the sort of thing where, like, of course they wouldn't think highly of him compared to their big boy, their Katakuri.
Indeed. And with good reason.
Also, I like this guy on the page where Sanji. You can see Sanji on the right of Sanji's face.
Sanji's gone full Muslim. He's wearing the hijab now.
Yeah,
excellent.
Very, very good.
Very progressive.
There's a guy on the right with a windmill hat thing.
You like that guy, huh? Of all the characters here, you like that guy.
Well, he just sort of tickles me because he's sort of he looks depressed and he's just sort of like, yeah, I guess I'm here. I don't know.
Well, you know what's good, Gib, about you? You're not like a normal, like, anime buff who is just like wants everything to look like Sword Art Online or, you know, like any of the normal. Like, One Piece has a distinctive cartoony art style that guys like you and I really enjoy and appreciate, that, like, a lot of the wider anime community, like, criticizes and you know, feel like, oh, it takes a while to get into it. But you're not really cut from the same cloth of, like, anime fans. So the fact that you gravitate to characters like that is honestly why I think someone like you, like, jives with One Piece better than, like, your average anime fan who just wants, you know, a bunch of bullshit. Same old gay shit. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like
just one of the little things that makes One Piece different that I love. Yeah.
A lot of the appeal of One Piece is that it doesn't feel like it's from Japan. It feels like it could be like a... You know, I mean, it has global appeal. I'm sure hundreds of countries love One Piece. Of people in different
When I
countries.
read One Piece, I can almost forget it was made by an inferior Jap. I can almost remember that.
Almost, but then you see the big funny characters in the air, and you're like, oh no,
oh shit,
not again.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm tricked every time.
So again, they kind of just, they're talking amongst themselves, and then Sanji here, boom, here he is. He's on the island. He's a little bit in disguise, just got like a sheet over his head, and he's just prepared for the moment when Luffy comes out of this mirror. He's in position, and that's basically the long and short of it. But he's here with Pudding. Pudding's the one who brought him here on her magic carpet ride, and then we get a little scene where Sanji is here saying, like, hey, Pudding, thank you so much for your help, but this is it. Like, after this, we are, in fact, parting ways. You've got to go back to your family. Let's talk about this.
I had that thought a while ago about, like, how he doesn't react to Pudding the same way he reacts to every other girl, in that he doesn't freak out, and that might be an indication that he would actually like to spend his life with her and marry her and all that. I feel like
he certainly doesn't think of her just the same as he does of other hot girls. There's something extra going on here.
There's something extra. One could be forgiven for thinking that this is a proof that Sanji doesn't love her. I think it's just the fact that obviously, in order to get away, Pudding can't come with them.
That's true.
And she has to keep her like she has to stay here because nobody knows.
Well, you know what's interesting about this? This is a little bit of, I don't know, like Sanji, I guess, even a little more red-pilled than me, that if you can imagine it. But I honestly think what's going on here is that Sanji, by going through this experience with Pudding, was forced to, for like one of the first times, like not objectify a woman. Or rather, not kind of just like Sanji really does when he sees a hot woman, like doesn't care about the rest of the shit going on in her head. He just like assumes that women are great when they're hot. He really does this. And so, but he's, and if you look on this page, we see him the first time he saw the picture of Pudding when she was like looking really cute and like, ooh, I'm so cute, ooh goo. And when he saw that, I think we did see him like do the big like heart eye and like the nosebleed and stuff. So his initial reaction to her being attractive, like he was definitely physically attractive. He definitely go full pound, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Pound D.
Pound D, that's right. Pound D Pussy is his full name. Why did I just think of that? Okay, anyway. What I'm trying to say is Sanji has gone through like so much more with this character than he has with like the average hottie that he sees on the street that he, you know, says they'll love forever and blah, blah, blah. So I really think that he doesn't think of Pudding as like just another girl. But the weird thing in this situation is that he definitely doesn't like just think that Nami or Robin are like just a bunch of asshole hotties who like he literally doesn't respect or care about. So like it doesn't quite, I'm not saying that he's like literally just an evil misogynist or any of that bullshit. It's just, there's something going on here with Pudding that is distinct from his relationship with just your average hot girl, and it's also distinct from his relationship with Nami and Robin.
I think it's the thing to note is when there's like the flashback panel where it's like, this is your fiancée, it's Pudding, and it's her picture. You can see Sanji's face, and he's just sort of looking over at Pudding, being an idiot, and he's just sort of like, huh. What is she doing?
No, he's smiling. He's reflecting.
No, I'm not saying he's making fun of her, but it's like, that Pudding, you know, like he's breathing out. It's just like, she's a character. She's kind of funny, but it's like he's looking down on her in like a she like a moe way, like I don't know the words.
Oh, because she's like way over there and she's like being weird even at this very moment.
He is sort of like, instead of thinking of her as like, oh, so cute for being moe, it's just sort of like it's a weird sort of like.
He's kind of respecting her as a human being right now, as opposed to just like a hot chick, which is good. I think.
If you imagine that they are already a couple, he's just sort of like the husband that's like, I married you because you were cute, and sometimes you're kind of silly, but you know, I love you. It's sort of like it changed. He's a different sort of person when he's with her, and it'll be like the opposite sort of way that he treats women normally. Is that he treats them like they're so much better than him. It's just like, oh, you're so beautiful, I love you, I'll do anything for you, I'll never hit a woman. And then this one.
And then he slaps the shit out of Pudding.
No.
That'll show her he loves her.
No, it's like she's the silly one in this one. She's going crazy all the time, saying, "Oh no, I can't believe it." It's a reversal. I don't know what it means. Right. I assume it means that this might actually go somewhere. I would like that to be the case, because that would be like a nice reversal switcheroo on Sanji.
Well, hey man, let's move along here to the next page. But so they're just saying, like, they're just reflecting, like, oh, we sure met in strange circumstances, but we'll be pardoned. Thanks for everything. And he goes for the friend-zoned handshake. But she's just like, I mean, she's just, you know, telling him to shut up. But really on the inside, she feels guilt. And she's like, I tricked her. I tried to kill you. I'm so sorry. I just want to apologize. And again, I want to remind everyone how wrong I was about her being like a weird triple agent thing. So, okay, that's true. I was completely wrong about that. She is, in fact, pretty basic.
You don't need to bring that up.
I want to. Please punish me, audience. Please tell me I'm gay. But I mean, that's it. And then Sanji's just like, I'm really glad you're my fiancé, Pudding. Just being a real nice guy. Yeah. A real nice guy, Sanji here. And, that's nice. That's nice.
And here's the thing, right at the end.
I do want to say, though, real quick, that I think Sanji definitely is nicer to Pudding than he would be to a woman in this situation. But then again, that's a flaw that many of us have. You know, people who we're just attracted to will, like, excuse their flaws more. So, what can you do? Fair enough. It's understandable.
Yeah.
But and look at her big old silly face. By the way, I think Pudding might be one of the very few actually hot women who Oda just really likes to draw these, like, hideous faces on. He doesn't shy away from, like, the ugly cry, but Pudding especially has very ugly faces, like, a lot of the time. And I like it. I quite like it.
I don't
how weird is it to see a third eye crying, by the way?
Yeah.
It's like an extra tear thing.
I love that. Cool. It goes down across her nose.
It's weird.
Do you remember Kami? Kami
of course,
Chan,
the mermaid. Yeah.
She had ugly faces, but they were all the same ugly face. I never liked how he drew her like silly faces. Hey, it was kind of like a weird hamburger, and I was grossed out.
I remember that. I remember her weird hamburger faces. By the way, I just want to point out about Kami. She is a kissing fish, which means she was built for the suck. That's it. That's what I mean.
You could have said a sucker fish for that.
No, but she literally is a kisser fish or something.
All right.
That's her actual fish type.
Wait, so what is Chew not a fish? Kisser fish?
Oh, I don't think we ever learned what kind of fish man. No, they did say he's a. God damn it! I gotta Google it now. Okay, Chew.
He's a long sip guy.
Pirates. He's not. We hate those guys. He's not a member of our clan. One Piece. I'm sure it'll say here what kind of a thing is. Okay, Chew. He is a
bitch.
Oh, God damn it! Where the fuck is it?
Got beat by
he is a smelt whiting fishman. A smelt whiting fishman. And I'm just going to confirm with Kami real quick. I'm like 99% sure. She is a kissing gourami mermaid. That's what she is. She was built for the suck, boys. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Good one.
Yes, I got the joke.
Yes, I like the ugly cry. I like the post-ugly cry where she's just sort of getting over it. I love that panel.
Face?
Where the sort of like the ruffled lower lip.
I love that. I love that panel.
That's so good. And
okay, we got to talk about this. This is big. This is big.
So yeah, okay, I think the implication here is that
he got the suck.
Wait, why would she take the like unless he's doing no
because she knows he's going to be making the O face and he's going to drop that cigarette. She wants to be courteous. That's why. Okay, all right. Let's get real.
Clearly, what she is doing is taking the cigarette and putting it out on her eye to remove it.
No, enough of these memes. Look, pudding is like... Okay, go ahead.
She wants her last request. Before you go, Sanji, kiss me on the lips. That's what she says. That's what I think she says.
She's crying. She realizes that Sanji's leaving right now forever. She's like, oh, Sanji, my dear. Sorry, what was that? Oh, nothing. I have one last thing I want. As she brushes away her tears, as this guy who she has gone through this whole journey with, that one frame of her taking the cigarette out of his mouth, and then just the empty panel next. Subtle, classy. She definitely kissed Sanji in a big romantic moment that we don't get to see. Frankly, like, so classy. I love this. I love this moment. Honestly, I am satisfied with the arc of these two characters at this point. We see a little bit later that Sanji is like elsewhere, and he's like, she's not around anymore. It's over. Her relationship with Sanji, or this journey they've been on, ends with this kiss off screen. They don't ham it up. They don't waste our fucking time, trying to show us how emotional it was. They just let our imaginations fill it in subtly. Oh, I love this. This is the sweetest, cutest thing I've ever seen. I love it.
If they showed a panel of it happening, it would be akin to having like a cheesy American sitcom romance swell of like with
exactly.
But it's not. It's just like, and the fact that Sanji is like, huh, what is it? Like, it's,
and I'm never one to accuse One Piece of subtlety when it's unwarranted, but this is super cute, and also showing a big kiss would be pretty un-One Piece. Just like for the demographic they're going for, I'm not opposed to it on its face. I think it certainly could be done. Have there been any kissing scenes in One Piece at all? I can't think of any. No, not that I can think of. Well, okay, but in any case, I mean, I just love the way this was handled. I thought, like, the fact that she goes from, like, crying, she's so upset. Like, I just get to, in my mind, and I don't know, maybe people don't like this, that we don't get to see it, but I love in my mind just, like, imagining the little moment that happened between these two characters. And you know what we get to do? We get to carry a little flame inside us for the rest of the series about the relationship between these two. They don't spell it out for us. We get to imagine it. And, guys, I know we're reading a visual thing here. We're reading a manga. But oftentimes, what you don't say can mean a lot more than what you do say. What you leave out can allow you, with your little pea brains, to make up something that's kind of more personal. Like, right now, I'm thinking of, like, what that scene would look like for me. I bet how Gib is thinking about it is totally different for him.
Yeah, I'm imagining she gets down on her knees.
Oh no!
By the way, what is that?
No.
Can you read the little what the Japanese on the left?
I think that's wadi wadi. It's going like wadi.
What's that mean?
I don't know. You know what? Let me check real quick. I'm gonna see what that onomatopoeia is. Wadi.
Suck,
Japanese
bitch.
That's probably just like a wind sound or something.
Oh yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, wadi is self-taught. God damn it. Okay, there's some bullshit. I don't actually know. It's clearly just like a wind like sound effect or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
This is why learning Japanese is helpful for reading One Piece, guys, because even the heroes in Jaimene's box don't translate everything.
All right, so
that's it.
Next page.
There we go.
Big double page spread.
Oh boy, here we go.
We see the aftermath, or like the currently happening math of the punches.
They have landed at this point. They both landed. It looks like, and
Well, you know what? It looks like it landed for Luffy, and it sort of grazed. Like Katakuri's punch grazed Luffy. It looks like he ducked.
Well, if you remember, this attack was coming in from above, so like it was supposed to be kind of a from the above smash downward.
You're right. So it's like bounced up off his head. I see.
Yeah, it definitely hit him though. Yeah.
And that's why the hole he falls into a hole.
That's right. And if you can see on the panel, like, so we don't see really the moment of impact, but you can still see the lightning. Like this is the moment of impact, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Katakuri's been hit.
This is
Luffy,
cool.
like the ground is like shattered around Luffy. It's pretty brutal. This is a very intense moment.
And then they get their arms back, and then the floor crumbles underneath Luffy.
He falls into a little hole.
And he's knocked out.
Luffy is indeed unconscious while Katakuri stands, but then immediately Katakuri falls over, also unconscious. And they're both unconscious right now. So
the time
that's where we're at right now.
Like 5, 10, 20 minutes.
Maybe like 20 minutes till, something. So it's time's going. It's like 12:40. They're both unconscious.
So that's basically, it starts off how I imagined it would, or like how I wanted it to go. They both knock each other out, take each other out of the game. And the most important thing I was thinking was if one of them if Luffy gets up, I want it to be at least a while afterwards, because after he beat Lucci at Eni's lobby,
yes,
he was completely immobile. He wasn't unconscious, but he was unable to move his body.
There was the whole thing where Robin had to like roll him away because he could not move after he beat Lucci. That's right.
And so if he managed to do all this and then stand up, it would be a bit like, like the difficulty has ramped up. But then if he stood up, his ability would have ramped up a bit more, and then it would have felt weirder. So the fact that he and Katakuri are just out for the count is good, and I like that.
It's good. I think this is an interesting conclusion, but let's keep going. We will address these things. There's more to say on this. So we're back in Whole Cake Island. People are talking, and we got Big Bird,
big news,
our big boy. He's here. He's just saying, oh my goodness, if Luffy were to escape, now that would be truly big news. And he's just getting yelled at by, Mr. Book Boy. They're just like, okay, this guy, this is interesting. So they're just like, okay, we have pulled out literally all our forces to stop Luffy from escaping. No matter what, we will stop him. And then he goes on to say, this is quite a provocative statement, even if the Pirate King Gold Roger himself emerged from that mirror, he would not escape. And, I mean, just name-dropping Gold Roger, honestly, makes me pay attention. It gets me interested. I'm like, oh, okay, these guys are serious. These guys are serious.
You know what that's going to be? Going to be the damning quote that he's going to put in the newspaper. It's like, Luffy is more powerful than Gold Roger, says Big Mom Pirates.
Now he's saying it right to the big news boy. That would certainly be an interesting
They're going to read the paper and they're going to be like, I didn't mean it like that. Oh,
dude,
no.
Just like how in our world, everyone's a Nazi if they do anything wrong. Now, like, if you do anything wrong, like, you're a Gold Roger. You're worse than Gold Roger, worse than Hitler. It's like the same shit. That's what's it.
I feel like that line will definitely come back in some form.
That is an interesting point, and I hadn't even thought of that. But I think, like, the Big News Morgan is definitely in this arc for a purpose. The news will definitely be important at the conclusion of this arc, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know how, but it's going to definitely be a thing.
I mean, usually the news gets out because they're fighting the Marines, and the Marines have an obligation to tell everybody what happened.
Yeah. Unless they want to cover it up,
this is just,
which they do sometimes.
I mean, they do, but like they have a news story about it.
Yeah.
This would be like Big Mom Pirates. Why would they tell anyone?
Oh, I see your point. Oh yeah, that's an excellent point, actually. Mm-hmm.
Like obviously,
so bring a news tycoon
rumors
here.
would spread. Obviously, like Big Mom had a wedding and it went wrong, and I guess a big paparazzi would probably get out anyway. But him being there, like as the main guy, means it's gonna be really big news.
You're not wrong, dude. And he says to him, like, put this on your front page that we're gonna capture them and cut off all their heads and arrange them in a row. And there's Stussy just saying how lame and gay that is. Oh, she's so cute. So many cute girls this arc. I love it. It's fantastic. Okay, and then we cut to Capone. And then Capone still fleeing. They've got the cake. They're still fleeing from Big Mom with the big sun boy. Prometheus looking very frustrated.
I think their ship's on fire, so maybe
I
he's
see
gaining
fire.
on them?
They are on fire. Hey, remember, they are the fire tank pirates.
Oh, and they're a tank
now they got the fire at long last. They already had the tank, now they got the fire.
Also,
you're welcome.
if you look right in the back, you can still see the slug face boy.
You can't? Oh, there he is, in like that little wave right there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him go. He's a good boy. I like this. So they're just like, oh, Capone, father, we're all going to die. Let's just ditch the cake. But then Capone, again, showing that he is a man of integrity, a real fucking badass. He's just like, no, we can't lose heart. We were born in different corners of this world. But if we die, let's die together. And he's just like a real... Again, I'm not exactly sure why he's willing to die for the sake of, like, the straw hats and, like, protecting this cake.
Well, I think the man of integrity thing is right. Like,
I guess that's
once he makes a deal, like, he would not have made this deal if he wasn't prepared to follow it through.
I guess you're right.
He would have just said, fuck off, Sanji, I'm not going to do that, if he didn't want to do that. But
I suppose you're right.
He was.
That seems to be what we're learning about him. Well, fair enough. And then we got the Straw Hats here. They're racing as fast as they can, trying to get to the motherfucking...
Cacao Island.
Cacao Island, that's right. And they're all kind of like, guys, I think we forgot something. We forgot that, like, we're counting on Luffy to, like, remember times and shit, and he's literally retarded. So what? Like, he has to, like, get Brulee and get here at 1, and we're, like, all depending on this, or we will die when Big Mom kills us. We may have not thought this through completely, and their fears are completely rational.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're completely rational, except for the fact that I'm sure Luffy would not... Like, if he knows, and he definitely knows that this is going to spell disaster for them, like, he's not going to fuck around. He's a serious boy when he needs to be.
Okay, but let's talk about that, because that's actually addressed right now. So we're now in the mirror world. It's 12:47, 13 minutes until the rendezvous point. And bam, there's a hand. Luffy, awake. Comes out of his hole, jumps up out of that hole.
Awakening, am I right?
Oh, there it is. So it appears Luffy is conscious. He's crawling out of there, and right now, here he's addressing it. He's remembering, that's right, they said 1 a.m. in the morning. After I beat him, I've got to be there at 1 a.m. on Cacao Island. I have to get there. And then, okay, and here's the thing. Just before we get to what happens after that, he says, what time? Like, he is thinking about what time it is. But I just want to say... Luffy was not keeping track of time until just now. So what if this fight had just lasted an extra hour? Because Luffy had no control over that. This is a massive coincidence that he woke up at this time. There was no way he had control over this.
It's true that it's a massive coincidence, but I feel like... I feel like he... Well, I don't think he was, like... subconsciously keeping track of time.
There's no way he was doing that.
I feel like he may have just made this mistake. I don't think that he would have been able to...
well, I'm not criticizing Luffy. I'm criticizing sort of the writing
the story,
here. Yeah. This is very within Luffy's character to forget this shit.
How many hours was this battle?
Many hours. That's why I bring it up, because it was many hours. Like, at least 8 hours or something. So it's kind of weird.
How many hours was Cracker?
I don't know. It was like a full night or something.
Was that like 8 hours as well? Like maybe he would have judged it based on that. But there's no indication of how or whether, like at any point, whether he was keeping track or thinking about how long it would probably take for him to beat Katakuri.
Yeah,
I'm just sure wanted to.
I'm sure he thought about that he would deal with it afterward. And I do want to point out, he did not have to fight Katakuri. He could have run away and just like kept track of time. He chose to fight Katakuri, which is a selfish thing to do. Now again, that's very within Luffy's character to be selfish in that way. But I do want to point it out. But here, okay, let's just move on, because actually, I think there is a fix for this, like immediately afterward that I'll mention. But so here's Katakuri, and he's standing up. He's up. He is up, looming, gigantic. This man is like 20 feet tall or something, or I think he's like 10 or something. Just bam, Luffy's on the ground, Katakuri's up there above him, and he's just standing there, breathing heavy, and he just says, "One day will you come to defeat Big Mom? You bet I'm gonna be the Pirate King." And Katsukuri falters. "Guess you really can see the future." And then he falls back. Boom. Da-don.
In the Japanese box translation, he says, "You're looking pretty far into the future." So it's not like saying, "Oh, that's true." It's just saying,
there was a little confusion there. He's just making like kind of a joke, sort of, on the whole see in the future thing.
Huh. You cocky lad.
So here he is. I mean, I love that. Look how big Katakuri is compared to Luffy. He's huge. It's ridiculous.
I feel like this it's not quite the right
proportions or whatever.
But it's good for like a.
It's dramatic. It's very dramatic.
Moment. Like this is what you've been fighting for hours and hours.
So, Luffy, here we go. Luffy is on his feet. Honestly, look at his face. He's pretty fucking alert. He's looking pretty all right. And Katakuri, here he is. Defeated, unconscious. Man with an over 1 billion berry bounty. Strongest member of the Big Mom Pirates, besides Big Mom herself, to be fair. A man who has never been defeated before. Had a superior devil fruit. Was superior in seemingly all categories, at least offensively, to Luffy. And he has been defeated by Monkey D. Luffy, protagonist of One Piece. Yeah. Except for Jinbei.
Well, alright. So, taking just the fact that Luffy beat Katakuri, just like that sentence.
Yeah.
In this stage, after the time skip, in this stage of Luffy's power level, being able to just about beat a first mate of a Yonko is an acceptable place for Luffy to be right now. Because it means he can't defeat a Yonko in themselves. And if he tried, he would lose.
Yes, for sure.
So this is like an acceptable level that Luffy should be at, and I don't mind that he won. But we've been talking about it the whole time.
Yep.
It does not make too much sense, based on what we have seen and how much Luffy has been beaten down, and so consistently beaten down and overpowered by Katakuri this whole time.
Because of the writing of this fight, I am forced to now headcanon a whole bunch of shit that was not actively communicated in the narrative as to why it is that Luffy won. I am forced to do this now, because it was so apparent the entire time that Luffy was sustaining far more damage than Katakuri. So, okay, I agree with your point very much, that I think this is a good level for Luffy to be at. Defeating the first mate of a Yonko, this is good. I think this is a good level. Of power for him to have. But it's the way this fight was written that I have complaints about. The repeated blows over and over, the complete domination, the way that Katakuri was visibly better in every aspect. Let's not forget, Luffy did not in any way, actually rise to Katakuri's level in terms of, the observation hockey or any of the stuff they were kind of building up with that. He did momentarily, get better. He was improving. That is sure. But what really won this fight is that Luffy pulled out a desperation move of Snake Man at the end, Gear Fourth, like a certain style of Gear Fourth. But really, what I am forced to conclude, I have no choice but to conclude this way, is that despite the fact that Katakuri was using haki, dealt way more blows, and was just visibly stronger in every aspect of this fight, Luffy just has better defensive stats than Katakuri does.
Yeah.
That is what I'm forced to conclude. And you know what? Let's not be uncharitable, because I want to be fair to this. Luffy is a rubber man. Okay, so, like, you would think that would make him resistant to blows. But, okay, but Katakuri was using haki. So, how much of the damage does that mitigate? I'm not really sure. Like, when Luffy gets punched by Katakuri with haki, as I understand it, he will take the normal amount of damage, despite being a rubber man. And then, like, if he gets blown into a wall, presumably the blow from him hitting that wall will not deal full damage.
Yeah,
I guess, because he's a rubber. So,
works.
Okay, like, fair enough. That gotcha. But he took so many blows. And again, we got to bring it up. The gigantic slash, like a hole out of his side, not just a cut.
I feel like
hole.
the hole in his in lower intestine area, like that seems to have just not healed during the course of the fight. Like he's not bleeding, he's not clutching his side, he's just walking away. It just
feel
feels like that was forgotten.
Oda is being a little bit of I think a Kubo with a thing like that. Like, he did that to be cool, but he's not really considering the ramifications. It's kind of a Pell moment. That sort of shit. Like, just this massive blow hits the character, and then unbelievably, they pretty much seem okay. Like, look at him. He's fine. He was, he got hit. He got slapped around a lot more by Katakuri after he got hit because he got slowed down and stuff. Okay.
I feel like the way this could have been handled a little bit better.
Yeah.
Would be if, it would be if the fight ended a lot earlier, but they were knocked out for a lot longer. Because they've been knocked out for 4 or 5 minutes, and now Luffy has enough strength to just walk away. And if they were knocked out for another hour, and it was the time's ticking, and they're both still down, who's going to get up first? That would have been the tense moment.
You know what?
The tenseness in there. And
I agree. I agree. I've seen the criticism of us, and I don't know. I think this is a lot of shonen babbies, who don't know any better. But the criticism they say is things like, why do you guys even read One Piece if you don't like consistently rule of cool style shonen tropes? And here I think is an excellent example.
Doesn't always do that, though. That's the thing.
It does do it sometimes, which I'm happy to cop to. And it's doing it now to some degree. But here is why. Here's really why. Because I think One Piece could just be objectively better if it was written differently. Here's how you fix this entire fight to make it 10 out of 10. You just make it so Luffy and Katakuri are more even throughout the fight. Luffy can get beaten more at the beginning, but when he pulls out, even when he was in Gear 4th, he was still taking more blows than he was dodging. If you wanted this to be the outcome, I really think you could have written the fight, the choreography of the fight should have been changed such that Luffy was not taking so many blows. Because now I'm in the realm of oh, okay, I guess Luffy is now I have to be a joy boy, and I have to be oh, right, of course he's a devil boy. Because Katakuri has to activate his devil fruit. When he takes blows, he's just taking them like a normal human because he has to actively liquefy. Luffy's is a passive devil fruit, so oh, of course his defensive stats are just higher.
As soon as you
now I have to do this
making
shit.
Assumptions, it's.
I don't like it. I don't like to do that.
Even if the assumptions you can come up with are very, reasonable and good, and that maybe there's no problem. It's still unclear as a reader.
Yeah.
And you can't hide from the fact that it is unclear. If there are people arguing about something happening, that was just a problem with the way it was delivered. It's not maybe it's fine, but right now it's not.
Okay.
It could be explained later, but right now it does not make sense. It has not. Well, maybe it can't be explained later.
Honestly,
it's one of those things.
It is one of those things. Yeah. People's retorts to me, I think, have persuaded me a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe people will tell me I'm backpedaling from what I've been saying up to this point, but I am a little bit convinced by the argument, because I think there's really no recourse to say that, like, I mean, I guess what we're supposed to take away is that Luffy really just is tougher. And to that end, we can remember the fact that Katakuri has been untouched for probably decades. So, like, just like, I mean, people bring this up, the fact that, like, Blackbeard, when he was fighting, Ace, specifically said, like, these fucking Logias, man, they're not used to taking blows because they just dodge shit all the time. And, when they take a real one, oh, they really feel it. So, like, there could be an element to that here. That's, it's possible.
It could be. It's just... I mean, like, that is the best argument against...
But what does that mean, though? Like, look how strong Katakuri is. He's so strong. I don't know what that
It's just
would do.
the way that it's been portrayed. Like, even if that's the case, and that's, like, the way you're supposed to think about it, there are clearly other ways to think about it that weren't, you can imagine people getting confused or feeling the way we do about this, because... It was shown so much that Luffy was getting, like, the whites of his eyes, like, blood splattering everywhere.
Like, so much. Oda went way out of his way to show how fucked up Luffy was getting, which is weird considering this is the outcome he went with. Like, those things don't quite line up.
I know Luffy has had, like, bloody battles before, but, like, how many have resulted in, I don't know. Like,
the kind of blow he took to his fucking side.
How many, like, of Luffy's battles would you say are, like, on this sort of level of, like,
well, let's think.
Harsh battling?
Lucci immediately comes to mind. Lucci is his toughest fight before this, probably, in terms of, like, he got blown the fuck out by Aokiji, but that wasn't the same sort of thing, the slugfest it was with Lucci. This is Lucci 2.0, this fight. And let's not forget, at the end of that fight, Luffy did, and that's the thing. People will bring up that, like, yes, inexplicably, at the end of the fight with Lucci, Luffy somehow just gets up after taking, like, the deadliest possible blow to his chest. He just stands back up and then unleashes his, like, most brutal attack up to that point. He's just, like, he goes full friendship mode and full desperation mode and just, like, unloads that jet Gatling, which finishes Lucci. And that didn't make a lot of sense at the time either. So, like, I'd rather have less of those.
Alright, well, personally, I did not read the manga or while that part of the story was coming out. And in fact, I have never read the manga of that fight. I've only watched the anime, so I may have a different feeling. If I only watch the anime of this fight, it may be the same thing, and I wouldn't mind at all. But reading it weekly, you're allowed to stew on things, and maybe that is just the result of reading week by week a fight like this. Like, maybe it would be fine if I marathoned it.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. I'm definitely going to go back and read this whole fight. It is definitely over now. It is definitively done. This is one of those moments when you can just tell the fight is over.
Yeah, so I totally understand why people think it's fine. I also totally understand why people are upset. It's not cut and dry like the one thing I don't like is people saying, how could you possibly think something different? It's
ridiculous.
Obvious. It's very obvious how people could think something different.
I don't want to talk down
entirely
anybody.
Clear.
I don't want to talk down anybody when I say this, but I really think the problem here is that the more closely you paid attention to this fight, the less sense it makes. And if you just paid a little attention, then you would be like, oh yeah, Luffy won, of course. But we study this thing. We read it carefully every week. And I counted up the fucking blows, man, and Luffy took way more. So, and now I just, like, have to have these headcanons about Luffy being way tougher. And, Luffy's a scrappy guy. He's been in brutal fights, like, with Lucci and stuff before, and, he's been, like, putting his life on the line consistently, fight after fight after fight, while Katakuri's maybe been stewing in his immoral donuts and, getting soft. But within the fight itself, it seems inconsistent that Luffy somehow ekes out a win.
Yeah, I mean, even, like, I actually really like the idea that Luffy is just... He gets in so many brawls and fights and puts himself in so much danger that he is kind of used to taking so many hits.
I mean, that's the thing.
Luffy, that aspect is like, I wish I felt that more during the fight. Because then I would be, like, agreeing that everyone this is like, that this is great.
This is like when the fucking, here's a sports analogy, everybody, when the Giants beat the Patriots, which they did, I think, twice in, like, a 5-year span. I can't quite remember. But the Giants, historically have taken down the Patriots. And if you don't know NFL people, the Patriots are the team right now. They've been the team for the last 10 years or whatever. Tom Brady, whatever. They're winning so many. They're in every Super Bowl, whatever. And I'm from New England, so shout out to my boy Tom. But when the Giants took down the Patriots, nobody expected it because the Patriots just were better. But what everybody said after it happened was oh man, those Giants, man, they were just hungrier. They just wanted it more. And obviously that's different. It's not a one-to-one comparison. It doesn't map exactly in the same way as here. But maybe we can chalk this up to Luffy. What is Katakuri fighting
Literally
for?
being hungrier?
Yeah, exactly. What is Katakuri? Again, we're getting into weird shonen level head analysis psychology stuff. But what is Katakuri fighting for? Protecting his family that he kind of hates and doesn't love. Yeah, he cares about them in a way. He definitely does. We saw that at the beginning. He has a deep kinship with his family. But at the same time, these people mocked him. He has to hide himself from them. We've seen what happens when he shows his true face to his family members with Flampe and shit. And Luffy here is fighting. Well, you know what? I take that back because I was going to say Luffy's fighting for his friends and all that, and he kind of is, but we know he could have run away from this fight. He chose to fight this guy just because he wanted to prove himself. So what kind of, that's good. Okay, it's not a friendship thing, but it's a personal motivation thing, I guess, which I get it. He wants to beat this guy and be strong, maybe for the sake of his friends. Okay, it's not the worst thought in the world.
Well, I think the reason he did that was in a story sense as a Katakuri sort of moment. Where Katakuri was you came back, but why?
Yeah.
You're gonna sacrifice yourself so that I am, distracted and I can't go and attack your crew. Why do you care about your crew so much? He's I love my crew. Don't you love yours? And Katakuri's I never thought about it like that. That's the general implied reason, I think. And also so that there can be a cool fight. There's obvious reasons for him jumping back in.
I don't let Fairy Tail off the hook when the fights don't make sense and are kind of weird, and I'm certainly not going to do it with a series I hold to a much higher standard like One Piece. And again, this is a far less of an offense than something like the Fairy Tail would.
All things considered, it's only mildly mildly concerning. But
and we have
for One
explanations
Piece,
we can
mildly
make for
concerning is a big deal.
Yeah, it is because it's so good most of the time. That's right.
So
especially
good.
Considering how great this was up to this point. But you know what? I have a couple of points that kind of contextualize everything that's just said here about sort of the latter half of this page. So if you're done talking about the main fight, can we just move on to the little ending below that? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the bottom of the page, this happens immediately. We talked for a million years, but right after Katakuri has fallen over and fallen unconscious, Luffy this whole time had been wearing a fedora tips on top of his straw hat, this whole fight that he got from the Capone meeting and stuff. So at the end of this fight, Luffy takes that fedora, tips it, I'm sure, and just places it gently over Katakuri's mouth.
Yeah,
and
that was great.
This is okay. From a character perspective, from a narrative perspective, that is perfect. Because what that symbolizes, of course, is Luffy's respect for him. Because Luffy knows, again, we all know how self-conscious Katakuri is, how upset he was. Luffy saw him freaking out when his crew was laughing at him for having a fucked up face. And here's Luffy, Luffy knows he's got this problem. He just gently puts his hat as a sign of respect for an opponent who showed him so much honor, so much respect in this fight. He just puts his hat on top of his mouth because he knows that Katakuri wouldn't want people to see that because he cares about that. That's Luffy caring about what Katakuri cares about. This is the payoff moment to all that honor shit that Katakuri had done up to here. And watching Luffy just slowly walk away, putting that hat down, again, classy. That's fucking classy.
Yeah. Classy cinematography there, and it's really this fight has been two things. It has been the character dynamic between the two of them, and an exploration of Katakuri as a cool fucking villain, and then the power level punching each other thing, which is secondary, honestly. The cool bit, the main interesting part has been completely satisfactory and incredible. With the hat thing, the fight itself was just a little mildly, I don't know.
That
but like,
yeah.
Overall, one of the best fights, definitely, of One Piece.
That is exactly what I was going to say. And you are absolutely right. This is without a doubt yes, it is without a doubt one of the best, probably the best fight in all of One Piece. And
Probably
again,
the best Luffy fight, I'm sure.
The best Luffy... I mean, the only one that comes to mind as a match is Rob Lucci, and I definitely think this is better. And you know why?
Feel like,
the reason I say that is because I feel this fight is more One Piece than the fight with Lucci. Like, with Lucci, it was a lot of just, like, two martial artists, like, dancing around and, like, punching each other. And Luffy would do some cool shit, and then Lucci would be like, hey, Rokushiki, fucking Shigan, ooh, I turn into a cat, like, and do a big punch, because somehow being a cat helps. But this, like, everything about Katakuri, like, again, he's the mirror match to Luffy, like, 10 out of 10 on that face. Like, he's just, like, a better version of Luffy in every way. 10 out of 10 on that face. He's got this crazy reputation. 10 out of 10 on that face. The fact that he has this, like, personal... or the fact that he's got these, like, embarrassing shame issues about his body and, like, his role in the crew. 10 out of 10 on that face. Hasn't been done before in all of One Piece. And then, of course, there's the X factor. The fact that Katakuri's, like, struggle in life is, like, personally relatable to me in a massive way. Like, there's no way I would not love it.
Do you have a fucked up mouth?
I have the biggest fucked up mouth. You know, when I was a kid, I used to get roasted by my dentist for how big I could open my mouth. So, relatable, dude. Relatable. One time that I was at the dentist, and he was like, holy shit, you can open your mouth really fucking wide. Oh, I was so embarrassed. I had to shovel immoral donuts in my face all night. So, very relatable. Very relatable. Katakuri as a character, like, again, everything was subtle. Everything was just like, if we had a big 2-chapter flashback to Katakuri's past, I would like it way less than we got literally one panel of Katakuri's childhood that explained everything I need to know. And frankly, I like the fact that I get to fill in the blanks. If there's one thing I hate, it's beating a fucking dead horse. Like we did with Law's backstory for, like, literally longer than any character except Luffy. Like, hurry the fuck up, I don't give a shit. One panel. That's the difference between Katakuri and Law. One panel for his entire backstory, and it was 100,000 times better than Law's. That's just the facts. And I know I have personal connection with it.
Goodness to panel ratio efficiency is through the roof.
And that's the thing, because even though I kind of liked Law's backstory, it's because it took up so much time I don't like it. But in you got like 1,000 like shitty diamonds on one side, and on the other side, you know, they're like uncut, they're raw, they still got dirt on them. On the other side, you've got one crystallized giant like blue diamond, like the fucking Hope diamond. And like, it's like you got a bunch of scattered rocks and there's some gems in there, and then over here you've got just one pure crystalline perfect gem. That's the comparison here. So of course I'm gonna pick the fucking perfect 10 out of 10 moment. And
you know,
yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned Fairy Tail at some point, and thinking about that and thinking about which fights of Luffy's I like the most, this hat thing, is like crystallizing.
I'm getting
my
emotional,
mind
dude. I'm just looking at this hat. Katsukuri's a good boy. He didn't do nothing.
It's so clear why One Piece as a shonen battle manga is so much better than other shonen battle mangas who may have like better like fight art. Like Bleach had great art in its fights, but you never cared about any of the people ever. Yeah. Like maybe early on you did, but like
somewhere okay.
Fights like this with Luffy and Katakuri, the fight with Luffy versus Usopp, and the fight with Luffy and the guys in the bar when he didn't fight back.
Oh my heart.
And versus Bellamy for the first time. Like fights like that where it's like emotional content, you know, like it's so powerful.
Bruce Lee quote. Wait. We need emotional content.
Exactly.
Where you said that, but that's the shit, man. That's the shit.
That's why this fight, like, despite our complaints, is incredible, and I love it.
I think the right way to think about it is exactly as you described. We can separate these elements. I can love Katakuri more than anyone in the real world by a huge margin, as I do. And then I can criticize, like, what is effectively the fight choreography, and I do.
Yeah.
I just think could have been clear. I think they could have been a little more direction in the direction that Oda wanted the fight to go. I think he painted himself a little bit into a corner because of the way he wanted to characterize Luffy in this fight as like an underdog, like the entire time, who somehow won. Because it ends up being like confusing. Like, why did he actually win? I don't actually understand why he won. But like you look back on things like the fucking, you know, like the block mochi. His weird, like, you're like, oh my god, he's like a mirror match for Luffy, holy shit! And you go through the whole fight, like, he uses haki in these weird ways, he has awakened mochi powers, which are implemented way better than Doflamingo's were, because of how weird this guy's power is. You know, we get the moments of, like, the emotional shit in the middle of the fight with the flashback and stuff. And then we see him do his ultimate attack where he turns into a fucking donut! What the fuck? But, and then just this big slam, like... The aesthetic of this fight is a literal 10 out of 10. A literal 10 out of 10. I have, like, never seen one better, ever. I cannot believe that One Piece is still producing things of the quality of the aesthetic of this fight this far into it. Like, this is the best Luffy fight there has ever been, on those terms, without a doubt. And that's what I want to say. Like, because of that, I am willing to overlook some things that I find, like, you know, questionable about the directing of this fight specifically.
Like, I'm not, like, going back on what I've said this whole time,
everything
but I
stands.
It still stands. I still have problems with it, but I will forget those problems when I look back on this.
Now that we have the full narrative arc, yes, like, and again, everything I said before, completely fair, and I stand by it 100%, but looking back on it now, what I will remember from this fight, I will probably remember a little bit of my annoyance, but by far the biggest thing I'm going to remember is the awesome character of Katakuri that we were privileged to explore through this fight, which is what big shonen fights like this should be. And I could not have been happier. And this little moment of respect at the end, perfect cherry on top. A fedora tip to you, Luffy and Katakuri, for probably the best fight in all of One Piece. You know the one that I think might be better? One of my favorites, I always think about when Zoro learned how to cut steel against Mr. One.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is an incredibly great fight. I like this and that might be my favorites of all time. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say about this fight.
My favorite fight is Usopp vs. Chu.
Oh, that's a good one.
With the Usopp rubber band. It makes him
that
flinch.
is a good fight. And, like, Usopp, just some asshole, beats, like, a fishman who's, like, 100 times stronger than him just through his wits. And he was terrified the whole time, as he should be. Like, what a fucking man Usopp is for, like, facing his fears and, like, actually beating that guy. God, what a fucking legend.
Like, the way the fishermen were characterized back then is that they could pick up a house and throw it down the street.
Yep. If that guy got his hands on Usopp, he would be dead. But Usopp was was good and smart. Like, if you, reader, imagine it was you, or listener, I should say. Imagine it was fucking you who was just immediately thrown in to fight this fucking fishman who's 100 times stronger than you. Like, that's who Usopp is. That's who Usopp is. Incredible. Yes. Unbelievable. And anyway, shout out to the fight Luffy versus Usopp as well. That one's more emotional than technical, but, like, incredible still.
Yeah. And
oh god.
Now the last double page spread, we got the brand new character Nazons. I don't know how this guy got in or who he is.
But his mask makes him look like he means business. He's gonna wrestle the shit out of everybody. Yeah, there he is. This guy's like, brother Dogtooth. Oh wait, that's so Brule is all of a sudden just crying like, oh no, somebody beat Dogtooth. Holy fuck, how'd you do that? And then, yep, she's being carried because we'd been wondering, like, isn't she important? Where the fuck is Brule? And turns out our savior, Mr. Roms, as it's called on Manga Stream, he's the one. He captured her for the sake of helping Luffy. So I just want to say, so I said before there was a solution to this whole timeline thing, and here's what it is. It's that, like, PCOMs is the one who alerted Luffy to, like, what time it was, and, like, this guy was keeping track of time because he knew about it. But, like, what we're treated to here really is a pure coincidence that things wrapped up, like, just right before the time. Like, I think things should have wrapped up quite a while before it, just for a lesser strain on my, like, believability of the you know, events happening in a chronological fashion here. I wish this had happened like an hour ago, and, like, Luffy had just, like, maybe he'd been awake or something. He was just like, I don't know, sitting around like meditating on the fight or something. And then I get for pacing reasons why you do it this way, but it does strain believability a little bit. What should have happened is Luffy should have just been waiting there, and Pecoms should have been the one to like tell him like, it's time. Like this guy could have had that information and like a clock and shit, because he's just showing up anyway. So if this guy had been the one, you know, knowing what time it was and shit, I think that would have been a slightly more elegant way to handle it. But you know what? Like I understand it's shonen. I'm not gonna obsess over this one little thing.
Yeah, like usually things like that annoy me, but
yeah,
it's well, not usually. Usually I don't think about them, but like like when it gets brought to my attention, I can't help but be like, oh yeah, coincidence, heavy thing. Like, what are the chances? But I don't know. I don't really have like a big issue with it when it happens.
Well, a minor annoyance.
Like, unless there's like a very clearly like much better way to implement it in a way that is also narratively good, like that would make it flow even better, then it would be more of a problem. But as it stands, it's fine. It's
just there's no... Like, they're really close to the timeline, so it strains believability a little bit. And there is no reason why the fight lasted this long, as opposed to, like, an hour longer, which would have completely crippled this entire arc, probably. I mean, we'll know the full extent of the consequences of Luffy showing up or not showing up soon, but, you know, again, you know, I got it. Like, this is one of those things that, like, it's a shonen, I get it.
Yeah.
But I think there are small ways
is have, like, I don't know, a watch or a clock somewhere in the mirror world. Like, oh, what time is it? Just glance at that clock.
Yeah. But, okay, so Mr. Roms here is going to help us out. Pecoms. Oh, I mean Mr. Roms, my mistake. And so we just see it's 12:50. The Straw Hats are almost there. They're getting close. They're in contact with Sanji now. Luffy, he's waiting for Luffy. Oh, and again, let's point out here. So here is Sanji. We see him again. He has probably now parted ways with Pudding. So that little emotional moment has passed, and we're kind of moved on to the next thing. So Sanji, probably for the literal first time in his life, got that kiss. He is no longer a kissless virgin. Definitely no longer a kissless virgin. He got it. He also probably got the suck, my dude. He had 5 minutes. He could get the suck in 5 minutes. No doubt.
Oh, dear.
Actually, probably had like 20 minutes. He probably got that nut. Probably got the fuck. Okay, but anyway. So, whatever. They're just in contact with Sanji. He's standing by. Everyone's standing by. This huge fleet is here to block the Straw Hats from getting there. 12:55, 5 minutes away, and we get our final shot of this panel here of the Big Mom Pirates. Yeah.
I can see the sunflower head guy on the right there.
Also, look at him. He's got a wheel, which are weapons you could use in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. That's cool. This guy's a big Bloodborne fan. Yeah.
And he's got a monkey tail, like a curly tail at the back.
Does seem to. That's interesting.
Anyway, I was thinking like this guy, this Pumpkin King guy right at the front.
I like him.
He's got a gun pointed at. Like, what if somebody accidentally cracked it and smashed it, or it fell over?
Well, then they'd just be trapped there.
Well, surely the mirror world has more mirrors. Like, would he just go to a different island?
I mean, I don't know, dude. They broke every other mirror to eliminate exits.
Well, I thought they broke every other mirror on this island.
I forget if this is discussed, but I think there's something about, like, it's relative to, like, where Brûlée is or something. It's like...
But she's in the mirror world.
Yeah, but she's in it, so what the fuck does that mean? Maybe the spawn point changes when she leaves the mirror world. Like, the spawn point remains from that spot relative to where she entered the mirror world from. I mean, I don't know,
that would
dude.
at least make sense as to, like, it would explain why she can't go into a mirror in, in Marichois or whatever.
Honestly, I think something like that would make sense. Because, like, otherwise, maybe she could just fucking go to Raftel. Maybe there's a fucking mirror on Raftel. I don't know, man. Like, with One Piece, there are these kind of, like, common sense limitations that, generally speaking, that are just like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, her powers aren't infinite. Don't worry about it. But then again, other people's aren't. Like, fucking Bluno can literally make an air door and just go into, like, an alternate dimension. Like, what the fuck? Why doesn't he just go to Raftel? What the fuck's gonna stop him? I don't know. Yeah,
maybe he needs to go to the bathroom, but he can't do it in the other dimension.
Yeah, probably
he has
something
to
like
open
that.
the door, and then that's when they strike.
Most
all right,
likely.
we've talked about this enough.
The last thing I want to say,
chapter.
the last thing I want to say is just how cool this finishing shot is of the Big Mom pirates looking together. Like, they are already there is everything in the world is stacked together against the Big Mom, against the Straw Hats right now. Luffy is like dead. He's got mystery arms to help him. But like, and look I love how cool the Scythe boys look on top of the mirror there with the full moon behind them. Don't they look sick? Don't they look like fucking reapers ready to reap the fuck out of Luffy's head? I think this is a sick ass panel. And
it's very good.
And fucking what's this guy? Oven here is like, come Straw Hat. Pretty dope. Really, honestly, I'm super pumped to just see what the fuck, like, whatever happens. Yeah, good question. Where's the Germa? Whatever happens next is going to be huge. Big news is going to occur. There was going to be big news next chapter. I have no doubt. Or possibly the chapter after that, but I think next chapter, we can't avoid big news. Something amazing is going to happen next week. This was an emotional roller coaster of a chapter. You know, we got so much. We got the resolution of Sanji and Pudding. You know, we got the resolution of the Katakuri fight. Everything's coming to a climax on Cacao Island. Big Mom and Capone and the Straw Hats. Everything's about to clash and explode. Where's the Jerema? Something incredible is going to happen next chapter, without a doubt. And honestly, my biggest hope is that it's fucking hilarious. It's just one of those big, like everything there's so much pressure. Everything in the world is built up right now. What the fuck's gonna happen? I want a moment like when Usopp spooked the fuck out of Sugar, and just like there was a big laugh at like the most tense moment in the entire series. I pray for that. That's what I want more than
here's what's gonna happen. Peckham's is gonna come out with Luffy, and he's gonna say, "Aha! I caught Straw Hat Luffy. Aha! Let's all right. Peckham's, good job. Let's kill him. Let me bring him to the guillotine over here in the corner." And he just sort of walks away with it.
And then he just runs. Yeah, I mean, something like that could happen. It's true. Geez, man. I don't know. But you know what? I want to say one last thing. That I like the usage of PCOMs here. I don't know where the fuck he's been. I've kind of lost track of like where he was at. I'm pretty sure this makes sense, more or less.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember he was with the fishmen.
They had him tied up, and I think he like just escaped or something. Yeah, I think the last time we saw him was with
Capone die, or no, he saw Capone, or Capone killed him, or something happened.
I don't. Well, that was on Zoe that Capone shot him and stuff. I think he was just around, and he was just like with the fishmen. But he specifically says Pedro died to save all of your lives. He points out the Pedro death meme, which I still don't believe, which I still do not believe. But we'll see. If Luffy can win that fight, don't you fucking tell me that Pedro can't be alive. Do not tell me that shit.
I can definitely see him being alive.
It's going to be a joke. It's going to be a punchline. I'm telling you right now. Hopefully. I hope so. I want everything to be a punchline.
What if he's just like, his whole body was blown up and only his snout is left?
Oh no! And he ate the blow up fruit. He forgot to tell you, but he's fine. It's just that's what he is now. He's just a snout boy. I don't know.
All right.
I think we're done. I think we're done at last.
Yes.
Oh boy. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hey, you want to talk about this, friends? Want to talk about One Piece? You should join our Discord. There's a link in the description, and you should become a patron on patreon.com/ whatever the link is. I think it's the Podcast Pirates. There's a link in the description or whatever. You should be a patron so you get access to secret bonuses in our Discord, and you support the show. That'd be real nice.
Yes,
that'd be real
nice. We talk about One Piece. We argue a lot about Jinbei.
It's an active Discord.
And
yes,
stuff.
Jinbei. Dude, Jinbei was in this chapter. Dude, Jinbei was in this chapter. I nutted. That's it. That's all I've got to say about Jinbei.
It's not like a Jinbei hate mob. There's plenty of people who like Jinbei.
People defend
Jinbei. If you wanna argue,
there's plenty of Jinbei apologists.
Get in a pirate brawl.
There's a lot of Jinbei apologists in there, and we gotta weed them out. They're no good.
I do enjoy like arguing with people in there. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's
it is
not
fun.
like a violent sort of like I wish you were dead because of how like you
no,
like
not
Jinbei.
at Everyone's pretty even-handed, pretty good-spirited. It's a good place. Shout out to those boys, those lads.
Yes.
Those chads.
Shout out to the Pod D Escort.
Yes, indeed. But that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you made it through this whole thing, you are
gay.
Monkey D Luffy level of endurance. Yes. Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week. Apparently, there's going to be a new chapter next week. It's going to be incredible. So stick the fuck around.
Around.
Bye.
Bye.